Hey there, everyone. Dr. Beth Westy here. I wanted to pop on and talk about adrenal fatigue again. Maybe I should have made this part two. I did a video yesterday on adrenal fatigue. Tons of questions. Great questions, you guys. I love that I got some of your wheels turning. And one of the most amazing things that I've heard is that all of a sudden there was a bunch of light bulbs that went off for women, thinking, oh, yeah, I do need to be more patient with my body. Yeah. It's one of those things like if it's somebody else, it always seems to be so clear. So, oh, of course it would take that longer. Oh, of course. When it's you, it is so easy to become so impatient, right? It is so easy to be impatient. So I completely understand the entire sense of frustration, urgency, or feeling like I hope nothing's wrong. I hope I'm doing this right, or why isn't this turning around as quickly as I think it should when you're working with something like adrenal fatigue, because it takes a long time. So if you missed that video, go back and watch it. Lots of great info there, lots of great questions that I had on there. And some of the questions that I had were on adrenal fatigue and specifically how that leads to weight gain and not being able to lose weight. So I drew this out. Look how pretty it is. It's so pretty. Color coded it. So I'm trying to break things down and make them as simplistic as possible. That's one of my goals as I educate women. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it because unless you're a super nerd, you tend to get like your brain doesn't process it then. So if you do have questions on the specifics of this, should be like, oh, I want a chemical reaction. Sure thing, right? That's my jam. Yeah, and I have a science background. This is something I'm very used to. Um, for those of you that don't know, my mom was actually a high school chemistry teacher for 40 some years, you know. So this is my jam. I was raised with this stuff. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about adrenal fatigue. Let's talk about some of this stuff. Let's talk about the process in your body and the adrenal fatigue. Now, adrenal fatigue, again, like I mentioned yesterday, it is a kind of a blanket term for your cortisol levels are not good. I'm trying to be nice about it. Your cortisol levels suck. So, okay. Adrenal fatigue, chronic stress, main reason this onsets. Chronic stress, what does that mean? It means it's been going on for a long time and your system, your body constantly has this stress response going. It doesn't know how to turn it off. It doesn't know how to turn it down. It doesn't know how to not respond. It just does. That's exhausting, right? Adrenal exhaustion. Yeah, that's another way to phrase it. Yeah, it's crapping out on you. Technical terms, right? It's so funny. Whenever I go through this with women and I talk about some of their Dutch tests, right? Some of the testing that we do, and I go through and I'll explain what is on the test result, and they'll be like, okay, and I can tell they're like trying really hard. And I'll be like, okay, so it's like this, or it's like when you wake up and you're a zombie for like an hour, like your eyes are open but nothing's processing, like your brain isn't actually turned on. If it was a dimmer switch, it'd be all the way on low, and all of a sudden an hour later it's like, oh, here we go. Yeah, that's one of the symptoms of adrenal fatigue. Yeah, it just takes that long to come on. And when I explain it in that way, women are like, yes, oh my gosh, yes, I have that. I have that. Yes, totally. It's hard for me to get up. I can get up, but it takes me an hour to wake up. Yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal. Yeah. We might want to look at your cortisol levels. Yeah. And these are things that we do in the 12-week challenge. The 12-week challenge, as we have revamped it and improved it and everything, I'm so excited about it. I'm putting a link right there in the comments for you to get on the wait list. The only way you get the registration link is on the wait list. So this is why you want to be on the wait list. Registration link is released next Friday, the 26th. It is capped. There's only so many women Dr. Victoria and I can work with. So that's why I have a wait list for those who are really, really interested in moving forward with this. But it does include a Dutch test. Everyone will get a Dutch test. We will go over your results of that Dutch test and get you your personalized protocol moving forward so we make sure we are not missing anything for your system. Yes, very key. So the adrenal fatigue thing, the chronic stress, adrenal exhaustion, all that stuff. What is this basically? Like, what's happening, right? Women that I work with, again, women are like, you're smart. You work hard. It's not like you're trying to like just throw something up against the wall and see what sticks, right? So it's really helpful for women to understand the why behind the what so that you can recognize, okay, this is just something I have to keep going through, or my body's responding this way. This is okay, right? So that's why I go through the why behind the what so often, because I feel like we need to know that, right? Yes, yes. When you have any type of stressor, your body will have a cortisol response, right? And this is a natural, normal response, right? The trouble is that oftentimes our bodies don't know how to shut it off. Yeah, that's where we get into trouble. It doesn't shut it off. This cortisol response affects your brain and your body. Yeah, trickle down. So once it gets set off, it's like a reflex. You can't stop it. Like if you're going to sneeze, you're going to sneeze. You can't like just not ever sneeze, right? It's like when that starts, there it goes. The fuse is lit. It's going to happen. Yeah. What happens there is because the reaction that occurs in your brain and in your body, it increases the need for energy. It takes more energy, right? And think about times where you have been stressed. Think about times where you have been under pressure, all these things. Typically, one of the first things that you notice, and whether or not you realize it, is like you're hungry. You're more hungry. Yeah, you're more hungry because you have this increased need for energy, right? So what happens then? Your brain runs off of sugars. Your brain under stress, it's getting terrible gas mileage, burning through those sugars super fast. I just spit over got excited. That means that you're using all the sugars that are available in your system. You have glycogens, sugars in your bloodstream, right? Glycogens that are stored in your muscle tissue, glycogens that are stored then in your liver after that. And after that, it becomes really hard for the female body to tap into fat stores for energy. So typically it will target muscle tissue, which we'll talk about here in a minute, down there, because it leads to some of these things. So it uses up all the available sugars for that brain to keep functioning, for your body to keep functioning, right? So what happens then right away is that it can actually decrease your blood sugar. This leads to some cravings, right? Well, you immediately want carbs. Have you ever been studying for a test? And I used to do this in college. Me and my roommates, we'd go to the library because that's where all the cool kids hung out. And we would sit and study, and we would have snacks, cereal, sometimes like Fruit Loops and stuff that would sit there in little baggies and containers in between us. Sometimes it would be gummy bears or gummy worms. And after we read a page, you'd reward yourself with some sugar. Of course, we had really good study habits. We're feeding our brains and our blood sugar levels to prevent a crash. So that's what your system is doing. And you might be thinking, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Oh, but this on repeat, not good. This to an extreme level, not good. Putting gasoline on this fire, not good, right? What happens then, it leads to being insulin resistant. Your body is very efficient. Your system will down-regulate everything, acclimate to everything. Think about how many times you've been told, oh, don't go to the gym and do the same workout every day. Why? Because your muscles have memory and it will acclimate to that workout and make sure that you are not burning as many calories. If you go to the gym and get on the treadmill for an hour, or the stair stepper for, hopefully you don't do this on the stair stepper, but you know what I mean. If you get on the stair stepper for an hour, your body will acclimate and will downregulate the calories burned. That's why people do interval training. That's why people do all these other, types of workouts to help switch things up and make your body keep guessing, right? Keep it pushing its metabolism forward. In the 12-week challenge, we talk about these things to make sure that you are, when your body is ready, that you can push your body physically to a different point like that. But the reason your system does that is that it acclimates. It does this with all areas of your system, not just workouts. Your body does this with all the things, right? You might be thinking, that's so cool. It is so cool. It is. It is. It super is. But it also does this when it's under the stress. So it'll say, you know what? That's a lot of work to, have these cravings and everything and try and worry about this. So what we're going to do is just become insulin resistant, right? Become insulin resistant. That way, the sugars that you're consuming and that are in your bloodstream, instead of them getting into the cells, because insulin, if this is a cell, insulin pops on there so that the sugars can pop on and then get used by your tissues, by your cells. Okay, cool. But when you become insulin resistant, that insulin isn't there. So the sugars can't be used, your cells can't use them, which increases your glucose levels, increases your blood sugar. Again, why would that be good? Why would your body do that? Why would your body become insulin resistant? I know it's sort of a backward way of saying this, but insulin resistance basically means your blood sugars, right? How much sugar is in your bloodstream is higher. Why would it do that? It's more efficient because of the stress that you're under, because of this cortisol response. It's saying, oh, you're welcome. I'm making this easier. Now you don't have to go through all that work. We're just going to keep the blood sugars high for you. Oh, doesn't matter what you eat. Oh, we're going to rig the system so it keeps it high. You eat celery, boom, there you go. Blood sugars. Yes. You eat avocado, boom. Insulin resistant. You're welcome. Just making it easier for you. And they're like, no, thank you. I didn't sign up for this. I did not ask you for this. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, 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 no. But your body does it because it's most efficient, right? What does insulin resistance lead to? Weight gain. Weight gain. This is like, it doesn't matter what you eat. You could be eating the cleanest diet. You could be eating 1,200 calories. You could be working out, all these things. Your weight will go up. You will get specifically more fat. I had a good conversation with another colleague of mine today, and we were talking about fat. And this is not related to like she used the word fat phobic, which I thought was a popular coined term that's good to use. When I talk about fat tissue, I'm talking about like adipose tissue, fat cells, and the response in the body, right? You can still love the body you're in, love the meat suit that you live in and all that it allows you to do. But when you're working on becoming healthier, having your body function better, these are the things to just be aware of. And when this happens, that weight gain occurs, it's because your fat cells are reactive. They're really dynamic. They're actually very cool. And for the female body, they're very protective. They're like a balloon. So when this happens, the next step is to gain weight, and those fat cells will hold more energy and blow up like a balloon, bigger and bigger. Not a lot of other cells in the body react like this. That's why it's so unique, right? Some of the cells, like they will either get more or less. Muscle tissue reacts differently, right? So with fat cells, they will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. That is how you gain weight. It's fat tissue, adipose cells. And in a reaction to that, so your body is in this protective mode where it grows more fat, right? That amount becomes bigger. And in the meantime, what does your body need to do for energy? How does it get energy? What's the easier way to get energy then? Muscle tissue. Muscle tissue. Your body can then target your muscle tissue, break that down, catabolize your muscle fibers, and use that for energy. Why is that better? Because it's protein that it's breaking down. That's giving it some essential energy that it's not getting here. Yeah. So this is why, especially in the 12-week challenge, when I talk about nutrient for the female body, we go through eating enough protein for your body, getting enough protein throughout the day, protein pacing. That's so important because we have to support that muscle tissue so your body stops targeting it. If you don't eat enough protein, it's really hard to reverse this, right? It's really, really hard. It's almost impossible. That's why it's so important that you're getting the right things in. And then from there, again, because when you target muscle tissue and you're storing everything else in fat cells, how are you going to lose weight? How are you going to shift your body composition? It makes it that much harder for you to do. And again, this has nothing to do with how clean you're eating. This has nothing to do with how much actual sugar. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm eating all this candy all the time. No, you can be eating a pristine diet. You can be eating restrictive things, but your body is reacting this way. This is the end result. This is usually when women find me. I've been trying to lose weight for 2 years, for 5 years. The scale hasn't changed. Nothing's different. I'm exhausted. I have a hard time getting through my workouts. I've got brain fog. My sleep is disrupted, right? Like the list goes on because you are already here and you've been here. So then to realize this is why when I talk about the reversal of the adrenal fatigue, why it takes so long. We have to back this trolley up. It's a lot. And do it on a cellular level. And so when you do start to reverse this and start to feel better, I get super pumped about it. I just spit again. I hope you guys saw that. I think I even gleeked. Wow. See, I get super pumped and I either get like all fired up and I start sweating or I spit. I don't know. It's a good thing this is like a video, right? But I get really excited when I chat with women and the women that I work with, and they're like, yeah, I've been sleeping really good and my energy is better. I'm not tired when I wake up in the morning. I can get out of bed and get on with my day. And maybe I get a little tired in the afternoon, but I don't have to take a nap. I get so pumped. And they're like, well, yeah, I've lost a few inches, but blah, blah, blah. Holy cow, that's such a big deal when that happens. It's such a big deal because we're starting to reverse this process. We have to go all the way up for it to actually work on the weight and to be like, oh yeah, I lost 15 pounds now. I lost 20 pounds now. That's the last thing that's going to change because the protective mechanism in your body has been going on so long and it's on such a deep level. But the beginning of that reversal process is the energy, the sleep, feeling better, working out, all that stuff. So keep in mind, when you are going through a process like this, you have to look at the correct thing to make sure that what you're measuring yourself against for progress is accurate. And again, it's super hard to do because honestly, it doesn't feel like it should be like that. It doesn't feel like that because this is a different process than anything else you've gone through. So if this is you, again, get on the wait list, go right there below to get on the wait list for the next 12-week challenge, because this is something that we're going to target and work backwards for your body and system. It's pretty fascinating though, I'll be honest. Yeah. So that's what I got for you guys today. Other resources I have for you, of course, are my podcast, The Female Health Solution, my YouTube channel, which is just called Dr. Beth Westy. And then I have my books, The Female Fat Solution and The Female Menopause Solution. These are on Amazon. All about nutrition for hormones in the cycle, and I do address stressors and adrenal fatigue and everything there. So, and I do talk about, protein pacing and all that good stuff there. So again, lots of resources for you. Really important that you understand how this is working in your system to really be patient with yourself and not try and like push it, right? Like, because so often you can be like, gosh, well, I feel better and I've been feeling better for a couple of weeks. Yeah, all right, here we go. Great. It's still not enough though to have this really reverse a ton. Again, those are just the first steps that let you know you're moving in the right direction. So let me know if you guys have questions. If you want me to do a deep dive on anything I've talked about here, let me know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your night and I will see you later.